Welcome to Salk Talk, a podcast from the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California. The Salk Institute is a global leader in basic research. It's home to an internationally renowned faculty that makes groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of aging, cancer, immunology, brain science, and more. I'm your host, Margot Wall. Today, I will be chatting with postdoc Chris Howard at his house in Claremont Mesa, in the heart of San Diego, where we discuss how he became interested in brain science, his life as a rock star, and his new role as a dad, all over a glass of iced tea.
My name is Chris Howard. I'm in Xin Jin's lab at the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. We're in my living room right now, sitting on my sectional couch with Henry, my 15-month-old baby, and my dog Jackson. I think everybody who is interested in the brain has some personal experience with some neurological disorder, either directly or indirectly through people they know or through their own life experiences. And for me, I had 3 grandparents who had dementia, 2 of whom had confirmed Alzheimer's disease. And I can tell you one anecdote that I thought was both sad and kind of the coolest thing that I've ever seen at the same time. My grandpa was a music composer. He, had trouble remembering who people were and things like that. But if you put him in front of a keyboard, then he would flawlessly play any song you could think of from his era, and he knew every note of the song. So very clearly there was some difference in that music memory versus that sort of, social memory or episodic memory. I noticed that very early on, and I thought that was extremely fascinating, and immediately realized that I wanted to know more about how the brain worked.
Chris's fascination with the brain led him to his current role as a research scientist, trying to unify diverse theories about the role of the neuromodulator dopamine.
I study basal ganglia, which is a subcortical region of the brain that's very important in motor learning, and it's been really highly implicated in a lot of maladaptive traits like Parkinson's disease, things like that. But also drug addiction is very important in basal ganglia. We study a neurotransmitter called dopamine. So there's a strong historical implication of dopamine being involved in movement. Now that sort of idea has sort of gone by the wayside in more recent time. Dopamine, if you Google dopamine, right, you're going to see stuff about rewards like cheeseburgers or sex or drugs, things like that, right? We have taken a new approach to dopamine and want to try to unify the field in a way. So what we're trying to do now is look at dopamine not as a learning signal, but more as something that conveys information about what's going on right now to help you and guide your actions according to the environment.
Next, Chris describes his mentor.
So he's scaly, kind of lizard-looking, a little bit taller than a normal person.
Just joking. Chris is characterizing his persona in a role-playing game called Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh gosh, I wasn't prepared to go down that road. He is a dragonborn paladin, which means he's half dragon. So he wears all this heavy armor, and he's sort of like crusader type, so he's fighting the good cause for the people kind of guy. And so I have named him Bernie Salamanders. He blows fire, so that's the Bernie part, Yep. Yeah, and salamanders, lizard.
You may have heard babbling in the background from the rambunctious Henry, Chris and his wife Annie's 2-year-old son. Here he is attempting to communicate with artificial intelligence.
My son has learned to talk to smartphones, which is really terrifying, because he doesn't even talk to people yet. Do you want to talk to Siri? Huh?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you said.
It's tough because, when you're in science, you want to spend a lot of time in the lab, and then you always have to do that. Every minute you spend in the lab, you're not spending that at home, right? So, yeah, that's been the hard part. For me, I was very fortunate because my wife, Annie, shouldered a lot of the weight. So I don't think I'm the typical postdoc with a kid.
Chris is not the ordinary postdoc for other reasons, like his past and present as a band leader.
I play music so that I don't have to think about science for a while. I've toured and stuff. We put out a record and tried to make it for a long time, and it was a really great experience. It was really fun. But I still write songs, and I still really enjoy it. Playing with one group full-time now. Full-time, once a month. And we all went to the studio just like a few weeks ago and recorded a song. It's called California Knows. The song is about the parts of the Midwest that I have now romanticized.
We are listening to a song about his mellow Midwest memories, and Chris is on vocals.
This land's not for us, no. It's for plants and bees, so with the air so dry it stands, and this summer never ends.
Salk Talk is a podcast from the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California. To learn more about Salk, visit us at www.salk.edu. Thanks again.